Pleasant good evening to each and every one in Guyana and the diaspora and elsewhere. Friends all. Today, I want you to subscribe to my channel so that and press the bell so you will get the next updated video that I will put out at any time, because I want you to be informed. My reason for doing this: if your parents, most of you are youths, and if the parents are older over 50 or 60, then or maybe 70, they will be able to tell their children and grandchildren what happened in the past. My reason for saying this: yesterday in question, a relative of mine, a black relative of mine, not the Indian side, we were talking, and he's about 40-something years of age, or 40. And I asked him if he know what, because he was talking with the Indians in Mackenzie, where he lived. And I heard this from many of my black relatives and friends, young people, what the Indian done. When I listened and I said to them, it is not true. India did not attack a black family, a black child, a black woman, or a black man during the 60s. These were country people, cane cutters, rice planters, and farmers, and the educated elite who was working during the time of the British. But what happened in the late 60s, I can repeat, Indian, they're like Jews and Chinese, they don't forget. And they will pass it down to the last generation. And to make it easier, it was the night of Guyana, they call it Black Friday in the 60s. When Princess Margaret, the sister of Queen Elizabeth of England, leave Guyana the night 7 p.m., the problem begin at Wisma, Mackenzie, and many hotspots where the black people was dominant. All in Georgetown, Albaistown, Campbellville, Tiger Bay, Agricola. Well, Mocha was way down in the back of Providence in the back, so not much heard about that. Stouffville, then Amstel, and many other areas. We must acknowledge the first thing is, Indian people fight each other. They fight for land. They curse each other non-stop. They humiliate and insult their own. They condemn their own family, mothers and everybody. They are not a race that attack any other race, unless it's a one-by-one thing, neighboring dispute, or a little fight. But the racial people, ladies and gentlemen, majority win. The illiterate, the ignorant, the troublemakers in the black race, because the educated and whites didn't take part in that. Okay? So let me make it clear. The racial tone-up, with the help of John F. Kennedy, Dean Ross, I think Secretary of State, if I recall properly, because the late Teddy Jagan was warned by Kennedy not to bring communism into Guyana when they had the problem in Chile, Guatemala, Nicaragua, not forgetting Cuba, when the missile had to turn back, or else America would have flattened that little island if it was on the main street. The Guyanese Indian country people, most of them was uneducated to the limit. From 1 to 10, I give them 4 1/4, 4 1/2. But for the very educated one, there was never a part of those nonsense. Okay? But the blacks, the CIA fueled a lot of this nonsense to bring down Teddy Jagan premiership. But Jagan and Burnham was very close allies and friends. Forget the division. PPP, Burnham was General Secretary. Sidney King, as you see, Guyana, I think he wrote the national anthem, if I remember clearly. And I want you all to understand, the decent black people They are remarkable, beyond. I don't want name to give them, but in every race there's good and bad. But after that uprising in Mackenzie and elsewhere, where Indian was beaten, robbed, their daughters, their wife was raped, I am shocked to know these black parents never pass it down to their children. Are they ashamed to tell them what they have done? Take modern Israel, Jews. If the baby just born and he got ears and he can hear, the Jews can tell you what Hitler do. What the Nazi done to them. And they will hear about 6 million Jews. What happened to them? But they will not hear about 200 or something million others who lost their life. Now, why am I telling you this? Whatever happens must be told to the present generation. Like it or not, because you black people, you talk about white man slavery. You also talk about things you don't know, but just what you read and what you heard. And you keep on saying slavery, slavery. And you keep on saying the white man take your gold. The white man slave you. But you forget that you love God, and God said, from thy sweat you shall live. And he allowed slavery. The prophets were slaves. The one who sung the Azan, Bilal Muhammad, was a black slave that was bought by Baku, or whatever his name is, Bakr. My friends, we have to stop, look back thousand years ago and bring it forward to open up a crack when those things did not exist the way we are hearing about it. Every nation was a slave somewhere or the other. China had slaves, their own. India had slaves, their own. Europe had slaves, the white man, their own. And not forgetting, Africa had slaves. But those were thousand years ago, when Africa was not colonized. Ethiopia was the champion of those days, with Selassie and his father and all of them. King David and all of them. So why are we modern generation want to learn about something to bring it in the present when we can't even understand the true sense of it? That is like I give you a 6 for 9 and you bet it in your head, and every one of you out of mainland of Africa, every time you open your mouth, the white man, the white man, the white man. Yes, you have white people kill one another. First World War, hundreds of millions. Second World War, they would annihilate themselves. No history book could come forward and show me that the white man lined 20 million black and kill them, or 20 million Indian and kill them, or Chinese. Friends, why I'm telling you these things, well, let it be known to you that from the beginning of time, slavery exists until now. Modern time in the 21st century, Africa still have slaves, India still have slaves, and China have slaves. And we are all economical slaves as we paying a price. And then not only that, if the Bible and the Quran is right, and the Lord said that you shall live from the sweat of your brow you shall live. That means slavery, ladies and gentlemen. Because he didn't say you're going to get paid for your work. He said you shall sweat. That's how you will live. So the white man come up with a lot of strategy, and we claim all kind of things. I beg of you, the young generation of today, modern time, stop looking back 500 years, 2,000 years, 3 million years, and start to look forward. Is your future at stake? 5,000 years ago, there was no shoes. There were no three-piece suits. There were no socks. There were no fingernails and polish for your eyes and your ears. There were tribal time with ring through your nose, under your chin, and certain body parts. There was just a piece of cloth covering the private parts of a woman and a man from Adam and Eve. And God is so supreme. Why did he put clothes on Adam and Eve? Some of you, when I talk like this, oh, be careful before God throw a lightning and get rid of you. Well, then if God is so ignorant, then the devil may have a little more compassion. Because we were misled from the beginning to now. You, the black race in Guyana, you was misled by Burnham and other racial elements in the party of PNC. And you, the Indian, you were also misled by the great Chetty Jagan, as you call it, the father of the country. Madam, ladies and gentlemen, this world is sophisticated and is much more educated. You, the young generation, Indian and black, unite. The Chinese, the mixed race, and the Portuguese, we don't have so much problem with them. And the Amerindian is the only one in Guyana has been exploited every way in the country. I want to know, if an Indian could go to Africa and sell an African a piece of land, they'll kick your ass out. Why an Amerindian got to buy land from black people and Indian people? Because y'all are selling away the people country and selling them like it's your own. You hypocrites! You're claiming emancipation, but you're not going back to Africa. And you Indian, you're claiming the arrival, and you are not going back to India. I hope you know that will come again, Sean. Because if you are emancipated, for every one of you go back to Africa, we would like 10 to 20 people to take your place. Say if y'all was 1 million, all million go back, 20 million Africans will come in your place. They're much more educated. They're much more cooperative. And you Indian who arrive, bring your dhoti and your pajama and your song and can't understand it, don't realizing that you are not the only one come with a culture. Isn't the Chinese come with the language? Isn't the Portuguese have a language? And if you talk about the black, after the European in Guyana, the British, the black people were second to them with the language. What made the black man did not keep his culture wear and his language? Only on Emancipation Day, those masquerade dress up with it to lie to y'all that they're with you. Those hypocrites. Throw away the sandals, the three-piece drawers, and your bra. If you want to believe in the African tradition, because modern African is wearing that shit. That's tribal affair and village. Give away your gas stove and electric stove. Give up the cell phone. Give up the TV. These things had a price to pay, ladies and gentlemen, and give up the car. Let's ride on donkey, the forced transportation with the camel for human beings. Friends, you the young generation, wake up. Stop the fighting but black man, coolie man, and this man and that man and woman. Into marriage if you love each other. Unite. But remember, you cannot go to heaven being a black man or a coolie and take away heaven from the disciple, Jesus, Muhammad, Krishna, Ram, or Sita, or Mary. And you black people love God so much, but yet you follow the ungodly and fight against people for nothing. Did the Indians get back all their property in Mackenzie and Wismar that was taken away in the 60s? Did they get back their business? Did those little girls whose bottle was pushed between their private parts at age 6 and 7? Did anybody do that to you, the black race? How will you feel if a race and surround black people and do that to you? You'll never forget the race. But you, of lack of education, you blame all black people. The black man, the black man. No, it wasn't the black man. It was a chosen few, and they were not from Guyana. America brought them in there, put them in villages to get to know the place, and they were the one, they called them Highlanders, living in Madhya and High Chule. Okay? But yet, the Guyanese black people was given a bad name. But the ignorant one was support the act. The looters and the burners and the fights. And on to this day, every time election come, you black people, ignorant one, you want to beat the Indian, break up other people's political party. Where is justice? But I got a thing for you. Changes are coming. Like it, love it, you cannot stop it. Y'all don't want the wrong person to sit there, because it will be revenge. Don't want all the guns what y'all holding. If y'all know what I know, y'all will humble your effing self and unite. Every one of you deserve a piece of land to build your house and money. But we will not tolerate Black Lives Matters. You'll be given a warning. If you continue with that, back to Africa or America will begin. And we will not tolerate Guyana as an Indian toleration of a country, or Muslim or Hindu. We won't tolerate racism, religiosism, and we would not tolerate stupidism. We got to work together for the benefit of the future of the country and make Guyana a stepping stone to the heavens, that we are waiting on the great teaching of the prophets Muhammad, Moses, Jesus, Abraham, Noah, also Ram and Krishna. But my friends, wake up to reality. How much time we must sit down and allow 65 members in parliament to rule you, and they full in their pocket and taking care of friends and family and their criminal athletics to destroy you, and y'all not seeing this? Where they gonna run? The world changed. The world changed. The late Walter Rodney was murdered by black men and supported by Coolie Jagan. Pat Rodney still live a widow by now, and her son. I remember when the son asked Teddy 92 to reopen up the case, the investigation of his father. It's alleged that Teddy told him, and if so be the case, what you need to accomplish. Thank God he died before the term was over. As I said it, it's live on a program. Ask Dr. Dan Powell when I do the interview in Brooklyn when Teddy arrived here. And he said, Teddy ready like Freddie. And when Christina asked me and said me, Mr. Karayan, Dr. Dan Paul said Teddy is ready like Freddie for the next election. I said, Christina, Dr. Dan Paul is right, but not for the election. It's a selection, the man is ready for the graveyard. He went back home, he came to Walter Reed, and he died. America have done a lot of good things for humanity, and also a lot of bad things. Because if you put a leader and they cannot function, they should not come about with religious conflict, racism. Anytime you find them into that, change them immediately. And they must not be involved in killing the supporters who speak out against them from other party. Like Ram Jatan, who locked up an innocent man. They kidnapped him when he went to take care of business at the registrar. Shameen Mohammed, my advice to you, your husband and your children, drink poison. Drink poison, because we are not going to give up. We are not, because you all don't know who's behind us. And I call upon the U.S. Embassy, Canada, England, and the Caribbean. Shameen Mohammed, a horseman, has heard that. And many more who name submitted and will be submitted again must not be given an opportunity to leave Guyana under no circumstances unless they're leaving with a bracelet and a chain on their ankle for violation against human rights. And all you Coolie people who had hands in it, we have your name, don't worry. Revenge must be a wonderful thing. Don't make nobody fool you. There are many ways. I don't want to say that what will happen, but let me warn you, the blacks in Guyana. Many of you don't like white people. You don't like Chinese. During Mr. David Granger presidency, by the market, going down to the president office, I think it's Boda, whatever market in name, where a Chinese woman parking her vehicle, and how the black women surround her, cuss about China, when China was helping you at the same time. A piece of ungrateful disease. Huh? I went out to Chung, my cousin was the vice president at the time. They used him when China gave millions. Where's the money? Ask Jerry and Burnham. Friends, there is a God. Nothing lasts forever. Okay? And it's an Amerindian country. How you black people could talk what the white man do to you, but 28 years in power, you all rape and exploit the Amerindian. Plenty army and police do it, but they couldn't say nothing. This young girl make an allegation against Nigel Damlal or whatever, and was a big thing. And this guy in Brooklyn, Mr. Burke, is talking about our Amerindian brothers and sisters and our Afro brother, what the Indian government is doing to them but contract. He better find out what the blacks had done to those same Indian people and what they do to the Amerindian. Now he is involved, the black caucus in America, in the Democratic Party, to call on the Joe Biden administration to do something about it. And yes, because he threatened, in a sense, I call it a threat. I have 5,000 people vote in Chicago, 10,000 here. I mean, if you do not do what I want, you can't count those votes. That's a threat indirectly. Call it how you want. But any minister in government, man or woman, use their office to deny a citizen, regardless what political party you're from, or your parents criticizing the government or the ministers, and the ministers use their office to lock up anybody's children. I said it will be penalty by death. And if the minister dies before it happens, the children shall inherit the kingdom. So you will inherit your sin. Let it be known that's the teaching of God, said Jesus, the great teacher. Do unto others as you would like them to unto you. I got a list of judge name, magistrate, prosecutor, police, even beat a man naked. Black people, and you talking about white people? Come on, man. And y'all got children? You, the big woman who do that, may your private parts rotten on you so you will understand was another woman give birth to that child. You were beating naked. Right? And you have children. May they eat the bread that you need. Take it from me. This tongue of mine, by the will of God, y'all gonna answer. Y'all ain't running away. So, Mr. Ramjatan, I am waiting on the letter from your investigator. Don't burn down the registrar. And we got all the bail paper that was created with our problem of breaking up the restaurant, the camera, the police hide, and I change them and put them all about. Don't worry. We will have our day. So I call upon the Joe Biden administration, and I call upon the Democratic caucus of our black brothers and sisters who's given an opportunity in a democratic country not to be led up by a man who's full with hate and spite because he don't like other races but using y'all to get his way. Okay? So I call upon you, Mr. Jeffrey Hakim, keep out from it. Ask them what they have done to the people before they get into this. Ask them. Okay? Do unto others as you like them do unto you, said Jesus. Which means if you kill man, I'm going to kill yours. We will not forget the crime that was placed against our innocent people. But friends, we, our generation, let's unite and make this world a better place. There are good Africans, good Indians, good Chinese, and good Europeans. It's time to stop using the slogan, black man, black woman, white woman, coolie man, Chinese man, and talk about humanity. God make man. We discriminate. Let's unite as one. Prepare for what is coming. It's worse than any racism. And unite and make this world a better place. And if Ali is doing good, it's our duty to support him. All right? And so far, we're doing better than all the rest. So I kindly ask all of you to subscribe to the channel, press the bell so you will get the next update. And I am your host, George Correa, looking forward for a progressive Guyana with unity and open up the door to the world. Thank you. May God, Allah, Bhagwan be with all of you. Thank you.